What is up, gladiators and overspeeding gladiators and over? It's your boy JayShrek back on another video. This is a reaction review to Plot Armor Comics. Batman goes to prison. Make sure y'all stomp that like button, click your belly button, turn on post notifications, don't miss a video, and subscribe if you did schoolwork today.
Capable of Terry. Shining his flashlight to the far wall, Terry pauses as his eyes catch sight of something. I think I found it. Well, I'm not really sure. He tells his mysterious partner in crime, there's no cape. At that moment, from the surface, a cop finds Terry's rope. Someone's down there! The officer's voice echoes down through the labyrinth. Shit, they know I'm here! Terry whispers frantically over his earpiece. Put on the suit, his partner tells him. As McGinnis hurriedly dons the suit, two flashlight beams pierce the darkness. What the hell is that? One of the officers shouts. Okay, now what? Terry exclaims as the iconic black and red suits of Batman Beyond stares the two cops down. The two officers rush towards Terry, trying to take him down as fast as possible. Terry's benefactor begins hacking into the suit's internal systems as the boy fights to stay out of handcuffs. As Terry flounders through his first actual fight as Batman, he discovers a number of the suit's most powerful functions on the spot. The Batman Beyond suit, Terry learns, is equipped with retractable claws, bulletproof armor, heavily increased strength and speed, and even wings. Within minutes, Terry has beaten his way through both officers and finds himself escaping into the night. Two rockets within the boots of the suit power on, and Terry erupts into the sky. Jesus, this thing can fly? Terry yells as he rockets through the futuristic cityscape. The voice on the other end of the line directs him. Keep your arms extended, using your wings to glide, it says. Don't worry, Terry. With this suit, we won't need to be afraid of anything. The face of Derek Power stares up at the new Batman through the communicator, smiling as his prize is delivered straight to his doorstep. Now come home, he orders his hired thief. On the other side of Gotham, in the dead of night, a riot breaks out amongst the prisoners of Stonegate Prison. Alarms flash and shouting bounces across the halls as the prison gang, the Sons of Azrael, holds a prison guard hostage in the cafeteria. The man in question? Captain Jason Todd. The guards wait behind the door, frightened to even approach the prisoners in question, until a steely voice grumbles out from behind them. Give me your weapon, it says. A large prisoner with graying silver hair towers above the guards, staring down at them with disdain as they argue amongst themselves. This is Bruce Wayne, years after being imprisoned for his illegal operations as the vigilante Batman. Minutes later, Bruce stands before the Sons of Azrael, wielding only a stun baton as he confronts the glares of nearly 20 members of the gang at once. Release that man, Bruce orders. The first man to run at the X-Bat crumples after an uppercut to the jaw. The second receives a broken nose from a backhanded punch. The third meets Bruce's foot at the sour end of a mighty kick. Soon enough, nearly every member of the Sons of Azrael is bleeding and moaning on the floor. Bruce Wayne, the gang leader says. Why should we spare him? He asks, tightening his grip around Jason's neck as Bruce watches. Jean-Paul Valley owes me a debt for saving his life. Bruce argues at the remaining Sons of Azrael. I'm asking you to honor that debt by sparing this man. Some of the members erupt at what they perceive as Bruce's arrogance, but the cool, calm demeanor of the old bat soon triumphs. Azrael told me about the debt. He had great respect for you, Bruce. The gang leader points threateningly before roughly tossing Jason to the floor, still breathing. The Sons of Azrael agreed to release the son of Batman. The man tells Bruce, consider the debt paid. Bruce grips Jason's uniform rightly as he limps off with his son. After all these years, it looks like you finally got your wish. Some quality time together. Jason jokes weakly as the two men slip into a nearby cell. Bruce was in no mood for games, however. Jason collapsed against the wall as Bruce paced in a tight circle. I've spent years in my cell reading, reflecting and meditating, doing my best to figure out how it all went wrong, Bruce said. And I realize my mistakes started with you, because you were the first. Indeed, in this warped vision of reality, it was Jason Todd that became the first Robin, rather than the second. Memories flashed through Bruce's mind as he relived the years that Jason spent at his side. I loved you like a brother, and that was my biggest mistake, Bruce admitted, because what you really needed was a father. Those were the glory years for him and Jason, his first boy wonder. Same with Dick, Barbara, and Tim. Bruce continued, that's what you all wanted from me, and I never fully appreciated that. I wasn't capable of being what you needed me to be, and that's why I really lost you, Bruce said, head hung low. Slowly though, Bruce got to his feet once more and turned to look Jason dead in the eyes. So if this is my only chance to speak to you, then I just want to say, I'm sorry. Jason was silent as he stared back at his old mentor, but suddenly, a rumbling outside interrupted their reunion. With a deafening crash, a Gotham City police tank barreled through the wall of the prison, and uniformed officers flooded in to shut down the rest of the riot. Any prisoners caught resisting arrest will be punished, or worse, shouted Commander Dick Grayson above the cacophony of the fight. Use whatever force you deem necessary, he ordered his troops as they began taking down prisoners with extreme prejudice. Bruce watched the scene play out from the shadows and was taken aback when he read the name painted on the side of the police tank. Derek Powers? He shouted as he read the names Wayne Powers written on the side of the vehicle. Dick, Bruce called as he turned to his old partner. What the hell is this thing? And why are you all dressed like that? Dick didn't say a word to Bruce, simply donning his helmet and walking off. Answer me, goddammit! Why do you all look like Batman? Bruce bellowed after him until another familiar voice cut in. A lot has changed in Gotham, Bruce. Turning to see who had spoken, Bruce was met with yet another old friend. Duke? Bruce asked. Used to have eyes everywhere, even from in here. Duke Thomas leveled at the old bats. What made you stop paying attention? Duke escorted Bruce back to his cell as the rest of the cops rounded up the rioters. What's going on? Bruce demanded from Duke as they marched off. Powers moved against you after the trial, Duke explained. As CEO of Wayne Motors, he was able to stop you from dissolving his company. Then, he got the city to give him millions from the Wayne charity funds and build new bat tech for a bigger, beefed-up GTO. Duke continued to explain that nearly everything Bruce tried to accomplish in Gotham was quickly dismantled after his imprisonment by Derek Powers. The GTO essentially ended crime in Gotham, but it came at a cost, Duke said. Bruce could hardly hold in his fury. You're telling me that Powers hijacked the Wayne fortune to make himself rich? He shouted. That he stole my company and turned it into a weapons manufacturer? And that Gotham is now a police state being patrolled by an army of supercharged Batmen? Duke gave his former mentor a moment to cool off before continuing. Sorry, but it gets worse. Duke showed Bruce the video of an unknown burglar in the Batman Beyond suit taking down two officers with brutal precision. This was recorded 3 hours ago, Duke told Bruce, who watched the footage in tense silence. Oh my god. Bruce finally spoke. Someone's gonna get killed. Bruce took a moment to process all the information Duke had given him. Power is behind all of this, Bruce said with terrible clarity, and he needs to be stopped. Meanwhile, across town, one Harleen Quinzel spends her night preparing dinner for her two youngsters. Her youngest, Bryce, sits patiently at the counter finishing his homework. There's a new Batman? You think Uncle Bruce knows? He asks, hearing the news blaring from the television set. Bryce, we don't talk about your uncle anymore. I mean it! Harley shouted. Silence filled the room before she went to console her youngest. I'm sorry, kiddo, she apologized. It just hasn't been easy without him, she admitted as the two embraced. And where's your sister? She should have been home by now, Harley asked. But before Bryce could respond, her question was answered when the front door slowly creaked open. Sorry I'm late, Puddin'. A scornful voice spoke up from the doorway. I told you not to call me that, Harley told her oldest, managing to keep her cool. Until she saw her daughter's shirt. That was Joker's shirt, not Jack's, she shouted at her daughter, who looked up at her grinning. Like there's a difference, she said smugly. Harley snapped at her daughter, slapping her across the face. Blood ran down Jackie's face. The Joker's daughter glared at her mom. What the hell's gotten into you? Harley asked as Jackie stormed up the stairs into her room. Harley's head sank into her hands. What am I doing wrong, Bruce? She wondered quietly to her youngest before she started up the stairs to confront Jackie. But when Harley reached her daughter's room, Jackie was nowhere to be found. Simply an open window and a computer screen with an old newspaper headline splashed across it. Mom, is this true? Bryce said as he read the headline in horror. Joker killed by Harley Quinn. Back at the prison, Bruce Wayne had decided it was finally time for him to make his escape. With astounding ease for one so old, he slipped through Stonegate's defenses without a single guard noticing him. That is, besides one. As Bruce made his way to the outer wall, a snide voice spoke up from the shadows. You're only a few months away from a parole hearing, Jason said. Sure you want to do this? Bruce met Jason's gaze. If I don't fix this, then more lives will be ruined, he said. Jason's gaze softened. Listen, I thought about what you said before, and you didn't fail me, Bruce. I failed you by getting caught. Jason lowered his eyes as he began reliving the worst traumas of his life. Getting caught and brutally tortured by the Joker. It took me months to recover. Jason remembered. I lived on the streets while my scars healed. Eventually, he went to find Bruce once more, but when he did, he saw his replacement being trained instead. That's when I set out on my own, he told Bruce, drifting in, out of different lives. Bruce leaned in and gave his son a massive bear hug. Everything is gonna be alright, he promised Jason. Jason apologized for not coming to see Bruce earlier, but Bruce refused to hear it. Maybe we're more alike than you want to admit, he told Jason, who smiled knowingly. More than you'll ever know, he said. Bruce and Jason stared at each other for a long while before one of them broke the silence. I'll give you 10 minutes before I sound the alarm, Jason said. Bruce sprung into action, pouncing and sneaking his way into a nearby sewer tunnel, cutting power to the perimeter fence after trudging through miles of muck and filth. Bruce finally made it out of the high-security lockup that he'd spent years imprisoned within. When he made it out to the harbor and into the city, however, a strange alien voice began to sound in Bruce's mind. Who's there? He asked aloud as he climbed through the city, keeping out of sight. I know that voice, he realized as it grew louder and louder inside his own mind. The voice was telling a joke. Bruce started to piece together as the words began to sound clearer and clearer. Finally, as he turned a corner, Bruce saw the one man he thought he'd never meet again. It's impossible, Bruce whispered. She killed you. The Joker, in all his crazed, horrific glory, stood before Bruce, looking just as young as he'd ever been. I'm the Joker, and I can be whatever I want, he told his arch-enemy smugly, grinning down at Batman with a devilish look in his eye. 1 month before Terry McGinnis was hired to steal the Batman Beyond suit, he was found by the Gotham police while beating a criminal nearly to death on the streets of Gotham. This man killed my father, Terry screamed at Dick Grayson as the captain tried to pry him off the murderer. Trust me, I know exactly what you're feeling, but this isn't the way to handle it, Dick ordered Terry, picking him up and carrying him off the premises. Waiting for Terry was one Derek Powers, the recently mega-rich benefactor behind Gotham's inhumane crackdown on crime. You know who I am, the billionaire asked the boy. Everyone in the city knows who you are, Mr. Powers, Terry told him. I'll make you a deal. Powers offered Terry, hidden from any cameras or prying eyes in the backseat of Derek's limo. I'll have the GTO erase your criminal record so you can have a fresh start. And in exchange, you'll come work for me. Terry thought for a long time about the offer, but eventually decided it was simply too good to turn down. I'm listening, he said. Derek smiled at him. Good. Now, tell me what you know about Batman. Back in the present, having successfully stolen the Beyond suit, Terry was staying hidden from the police force he knew was out in full force searching for him. But with the power of the Batsuit at his fingertips, Terry also knew that there was no force on Earth powerful enough to catch him if he didn't want to be found. Across town, Bruce Wayne was struggling not to go into cardiac arrest as he stared back at the face of his most hated enemy. Joker, he bellowed, striking out on instinct at the clown prince of crime. But to Bruce's surprise, his fist traveled harmlessly through Joker's torso. Calm down so I can explain, Joker told Bruce, who was far from calming down. Bruce's next blow went right through the man too, at which point he realized he wasn't going to be able to punch his way out of this one. Finally, Bruce sat down to listen to what the Joker had to say. I know exactly what you're thinking, Joker started. That I'm some sort of hallucination. Something your brain cooked up as a reflection of your guilt. Bruce looked away, unable to face the Joker. I'm not a hallucination, the clown assured him. A hologram, Bruce deduced. But where's the projection coming from? Joker couldn't help but smirk. Inside your head. What? Bruce shouted, letting his anger get the better of him once more. Remember years ago when I kicked your ass on that rooftop? Joker asked cutely. That's when you put a microchip in my head? When I was unconscious? Bruce realized angrily. Clever little scamp, wasn't it? Joker chided, but suddenly Bruce collapsed to the floor. Bats? Joker knelt with him, genuine concern on his face. Bruce was struggling to stay upright. Heart attack. I can't breathe, he managed. You're not having a heart attack, Joker told Bats frankly. What you're having is a panic attack. Bruce wouldn't hear it. A panic attack? That's ridiculous. Joker only smirked. It's nothing to be embarrassed about. Lots of people have them. Hearing the voice of his worst enemy try to talk him through a moment of sheer anxiety did not help Bruce's mood. Why the hell are you here? Bats roared at the hologram. I'm here to help you, Joker said, taking out a bat symbol pin and clipping it to his lapel. And Harley Quinn. Back at the GTO, Dick Grayson and Duke Thomas were engaged in a raucous argument over the escape and disappearance of Bruce Wayne. Jason let him out, Duke, Grayson shouted. We do not know that yet, Duke replied calmly. Dick was furious. He ordered Duke on the spot to go to the prison and arrest Jason Todd. Duke refused and promptly quit after Grayson simply refused to see reason. Dick had let his anger at his old mentor cloud his judgment, and Duke wouldn't help his old friend down the path of darkness. While the city remained on high alert for both Terry McGinnis and the recently escaped Bruce, the ex-Batman himself hid amidst the technological rainforest that Gotham had become in his absence. And though silence was the one thing he really craved, his uninvited sidekick just wouldn't leave him alone. You need my help, Spats, Joker told Bruce. No, I don't. And neither does she, Bruce shot back. You're not nearly as prepared as you used to be, Joker tried to reason with the old man. You're still way past your physical peak. Bruce remained unamused at the Joker's antics, especially since he had no way to rid himself of his unlikely ride-along passenger. You're an algorithm in my head, which means you've been locked up in Stonegate along with me. Bruce huffed, but the Joker, or Jack as he was calling himself, had an answer for this too. I know the locations of every GTO camera, that you've been spotted on 3 of them, and that police are minutes away from this position, Joker laid bare for Bruce. Just as Jack predicted, within minutes a police tank had rolled up on Bruce's location, and they didn't seem interested in anything but his abject surrender. The driver popped the manhole and exited the tank while Bruce stared it down. Dick, he said as his old protege stepped out. Get on the ground, face down, Grayson ordered Bruce. Listen to me, Bats pleaded. I know who stole the Batman suit. Dick could barely even hear Bruce's words over the fury that was coursing through his veins. The battery in his suit is charging up and his heart rate is increasing, Joker warned. He's about to do something. Dick put down his helmet, unsheathed his stun baton, and squared up to battle Bruce man to man. Bruce got the first few hits in, taking advantage of Dick's lack of practice against real combatants since he joined the force. But Grayson's youth, paired with his incredibly high-tech suit of body armor, gave the ex-boy wonder the upper hand as the fight intensified. One brutal headbutt and a follow-up sucker punch later, and Bruce hit the deck hard. But after Grayson believed he'd won, he let his guard down as he approached to handcuff Bruce and take him away. Digging deep, Bruce reached out and grabbed Dick's stun baton, twirling it around and tasing his old ward in the back of the knee, electrocuting Grayson and completely paralyzing him. Is he okay? Bruce asked immediately, fear written all across his face. He's fine, Joker assured him. The suit's been shorted out, but the battery will recharge quickly. Bruce got to work tying Grayson up so he couldn't follow. If you want to protect Gotham, he told Robin. You imprison the criminals, not the entire city. With that, Bruce strode off into the night once more, content to rely on his holographic arch-enemy to help him avoid any more surprise police interruptions. What did I tell you? You can totally trust me, Jack exclaimed as the two men walked off into the city. You gave me tactical advice, and I went with it. We're a long way from trust, Bruce grumbled as he pilfered some helpful gadgets from Grayson's police cruiser. I need to get off radar and become a ghost, Bruce knew, and I think I have just the thing. With that, for the first time in decades, Batman swung across the Gotham skyline and out of view. Back at Powers Industries, Terry McGinnis had finally managed to return the Beyond suit to his employer. I just hope you can work out the kinks, Terry told Derek Powers. I almost killed those two guards. Derek assured him the guards were recovering, but didn't say whether or not the suit's deadly nature would be turned down. It's okay, Terry. Derek soothed the boy's nerves by showing him a picture of his deceased father. Everything is going to be all right. Of course, the same wasn't true for Commander Dick Grayson, who'd just been found strung up to his own police car by none other than Commissioner Barbara Gordon. This must really piss you off, Babs chuckled as she stared down at her ex. Got your ass handed to you by a guy in his 60s, she joked. Grayson was in no mood for her levity. Soon enough, the two were shouting in the streets over their failed relationship. It turns out that Barbara had opposed Power's growing role in Gotham's criminal justice system, and she'd been fired for it. Dick hadn't stood up for her then, and he was paying the price now. Wake up, Dick. You're still a vigilante. Barbara spat at him before storming off, leaving Grayson alone with his sore muscles and his thoughts. Bruce, meanwhile, had gotten back in the groove of the city. He snuck through the shadowy corridors of Gotham like it was second nature. And in no time, both he and Jack had made it all the way across the city to one of Bruce's only remaining safe houses. The lights shimmered to life as Bruce walked into the armory. Whoa! So this is like a mini Batcave, Joker exclaimed, looking around in glee at all the gadgets and gizmos stored away. What are we looking for? Joker asked as Bruce walked with intention past all of his old weapons of war. This, he said. Before the two men stood a full-size black and yellow batsuit, never before used. The suit had sat collecting dust for decades, and finally it stared down at its master, come to claim it at long last. Tell me you're gonna put it on, Jack begged, unable to contain his excitement. But before he could, a voice sounded from behind them. We've had no contact for years, and now I find you sneaking around the basement without even saying hello? Harley Quinn angrily confronted Bruce. For once, the Joker was speechless. She's stunning, he whispered so that even Bruce could barely hear. I didn't think you'd want to see me, Bruce admitted. Harley crept towards him. Of course I want to see you, she told him. You're my husband. To find out what happened next, check out part 2 of this warped future.
Okay, boy, Jay Shrek, I'm out.